In this video, we're going to dive into a topic that isn't talked about much in the manifestation community, the potential dark side of the law of assumption. Now, if you've been practicing manifestation or conscious creation, you know how powerful the law of assumption is. What you assume to be true about yourself and the world around you becomes your reality. But like any powerful tool, if misunderstood or misused, it can lead to some pitfalls. Hi, I'm Jeff, and I teach practical and spiritual methods for organizing and empowering your life. So now let's explore the potential risks and challenges you might encounter when working with this universal law and how to navigate them wisely. So first, let's establish what exactly we mean by the law of assumption. This law, popularized by Neville Goddard, is essentially the idea that what you assume to be true in your mind becomes your lived experience. It's incredibly empowering, right? You are the creator of your reality. But here's where things can get tricky. The law of assumption works both positively and negatively. If you hold empowering beliefs about yourself, you manifest those positive outcomes. But if you're unconsciously carrying limiting assumptions, beliefs that you aren't good enough, that success is hard to come by, or that love always leads to pain, you can just as easily manifest those negative outcomes without even realizing it. So the first potential pitfall is becoming aware of your negative assumptions, because the law of assumption doesn't discriminate between positive or negative. It simply mirrors back to you whatever you hold to be true. So now the second pitfall of the law of assumption is something that a lot of people don't talk about: the temptation to manipulate outcomes or people. Now, when people first learn about this law, there's often a lot of excitement, right? Because you realize you can shift your reality by changing your assumptions and changing your emotions and your thoughts. And naturally, the first step for some is to start focusing on specific outcomes, maybe trying to change other people or control exactly how situations unfold. So while it's true that your assumptions influence your world, trying to force others to conform to your personal desires can lead to a distorted use of the law. You might get what you want initially, but if it's based on manipulation or an ego-driven desire, the fulfillment won't last. Not to mention, you can damage relationships and your own peace of mind by focusing too much on controlling outcomes rather than aligning with your authentic desires. So the solution here is obviously to use this law in a positive, empowering way. Use it in a way that aligns with your higher self, with your highest goals for your life, and not for just short-term, ego-driven desires that you have. Another trap that people fall into with the law of assumption is using it as a form of spiritual bypassing. This happens when we use positive assumptions or affirmations to avoid confronting deeper emotional wounds or issues. For example, if you've had a difficult experience with rejection in the past, you might try to use the law of assumption to simply assume that going forward, everything will be perfect and you can just ignore those old feelings. Now, on one hand, it's very important to have a positive outlook on life. But on the other hand, those unresolved emotions don't just disappear. They continue to influence your subconscious beliefs and can show up in your assumptions in really sneaky ways. So while it's tempting to just assume away difficult feelings and emotions, true healing really requires looking directly at the uncomfortable stuff, at the problems in our life. We have to process them and then shift our assumptions in a healthy way. The law of assumption isn't a shortcut to bypass healing, but rather a tool to be used alongside inner work and shadow work in order to grow. So finally, one of the most common pitfalls is relying too heavily on assumptions and neglecting inspired action. While the law of assumption tells us that our mental state and emotions shape our reality, that doesn't mean we can just sit back, relax, and wait for everything to change without any action on our part. Because there's a balance between shifting your mindset and taking aligned actions in the physical world. People who misunderstand this might find themselves frustrated, wondering why things aren't manifesting despite their new assumptions. The truth is, while your assumptions do set the stage, You still need to move forward and make incremental progress toward your goals, guided by the intuition and opportunities that arise as a result of this changed mindset. So as you can see, the law of assumption is a very powerful tool, but it's not without its potential pitfalls. The real key here is having awareness, being mindful of both your positive and negative assumptions, steering clear of trying to control others or situations, avoiding what we call spiritual bypassing, and balancing these inner shifts with outer actions. By staying grounded and aware, you can use the law of assumption to create a life that aligns with your highest truth, not just your surface desires. So if any of this resonates with you, please drop a comment below and let me know if you've encountered any of these challenges on your manifestation journey. And as always, if you found this content helpful, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more conscious content in the future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.